Okay. Welcome to another week of Soulfully Guided. I am your host, Carmel-Anne. I'll have to say, excuse how I look today. I've had the most amazing mentoring session and a mediumship practice reading that blew my mentor away. So it's been a great morning and it left me little time to prepare. So I feel a lot more fabulous than I look, but that's okay. We're going to wing it today on show today. So this is episode 2 of the Gifted Children series. If you didn't watch last week, please do. We're doing a series dedicated to our children who express or exhibit spiritual gifts that are beyond their understanding and how to live with it. And so allow me to introduce myself if you've never met me or watched us before. So I'm Soulfully Guided and I present to a weekly show at 1:45 p.m. Melbourne time or Sydney time, Australia, every Thursday if you're in Australia. Otherwise, that's a Thursday, I think 9:45 p.m. In Washington, D.C. time. But so at Soulfully Guided, I offer empathic, intuitive, psychic, photo and tarot readings. So our motto at Soulfully Guided and what we live by is that Soulfully Guided offers a spiritual analysis and exploration into your deepest self. And we do that because we combine a scientific, I have what I believe is a scientific analytical mind. So thanks, Dave. 9:45 Washington, D.C. and 6:45 on New York time, I think it was. But so Soulfully Guided, LA time, that is. Excuse me, I'm not good with my time zones, but I'm really glad I show up every week, especially when there's a time zone change. But going back to that, so Soulfully Guided, we offer I have an analytical and scientific mind, and I combine that with a spiritual heart to give you a really nice experience and a unique experience in your readings and the services we offer. So we don't provide quick fixes to your questions. We offer solutions to your problems, and we do that by connecting together and giving you an action plan and some really good, useful advice that's tailored to you rather than a generic sort of experience. Now, I did want to bring out, so I'm winging it today. I haven't even practiced. It's been really time crept up. So, and here I am. So I wanted to give a shout out to Stephanie, who's one of our mini mediums, and who's an incredible person and host or co-host on the show. She offers a mediumship show 2 days before me at some stage. And Stephanie will be on next week as a guest on Soulfully Guided, and Stephanie will be sharing and contributing to her experience as a gifted child. So in the Gifted Children series, we're actually looking at not just my experience, we're looking at other people's experience, because we really want to be there to support children who have gifts that don't know. So Stephanie is the mini medium on 8 p.m. Washington time every Wednesday if you're in the USA. And her Facebook page, which I've actually written down, is Mini Medium, Psychic Medium, and Reiki Practitioner. So please check her out. She's a wonderful show host and a bit of a firecracker in a warm personality and larger than life perspective. So minimedium.com is her website, and we'll be hearing what Steph has to say about her experiences so we can make it broader. And that's mini/medium.com. So if you want to check her out, and we're also soulfullyguided.com.au or soulfullyguided.com for my own show. So we're very excited to collaborate with you. We're not going to give you a series of interview questions or things like that and a structured interview. It's really a series of the heart and messages from the heart. And these can be quite challenging because it's not easy. being a gifted child and not understanding the language of your body or the language of your gift, and that you're actually not weird. This is something that adults consider an amazing thing, but children are afraid to speak out, and often parents don't understand. So we're not here to make you feel worse. We're here to educate you and inform you so that life can be easier as a parent of a gifted child, also for your child, but also for anyone who's curious. So I wanted to start today with some basic examples that happened to me as a child that would sound so insignificant in the scheme of a life and to an adult. But as a child, I became really introverted, and I'm an extroverted person as an adult, and I found myself, but spiritual gifts really hindered my development and my enjoyment of life, and my ability to connect with people. So it was very challenging being a child, because things would happen, and my main gift set, which I'll go on to say in a few weeks how I've never publicly admitted this, but my experience of astral traveling. I was younger than a teenage year. I was about maybe 7, I think. I remember it clearly as if it were a movie, so I can relay what happened. And that was the point in time where I had to stop everything. I'm not going to discuss that in this show, but I will discuss it in 2 weeks, and I'll give you a really clear. I don't know how to astral travel as an adult. So I'm going to give you my childhood experience and my unwavered and my innocent life, as we are children and we're innocent, and our mindset is different. So I'm going to revisit myself and my experience as a child and tell you as a child, not as the adult I am today. And I wanted to touch on some smaller topics today, and they were like, can you imagine everyday white lies to a gifted child? So, parents, we do that. It's our safe space. No, well, there's no dessert left, or no, we can't go to the shop because, for a little insignificant white lie that we wouldn't think twice about saying. But as a gifted child who can read your energy and feel your lie, something as significant as, it would be really nicer to say to a child that's gifted, we do have more dessert, but there you've had your serve of dessert, and we're not going to give you any more tonight, but you can have some tomorrow because you've had enough. I don't want you to have trouble sleeping because of too much sugar, or as little as simple, but giving the truth to a child really matters, and trying to avoid those safe white lies that we often have to do as a parent to protect or to, de-escalate certain situations. But with a gifted child, they take that white lie literally like an attack, and they're seeing and feeling and hearing, and they're in the energy of this simple, insignificant piece of information that's not true. And that makes life really hard to be able to, as a child, to be able to trust someone and trust what they're saying, because these little snippets of incorrect information that they're aware of is not right. But we don't have the brain as children. We don't have the brain or the capacity or the mindset and thinking process to actually differentiate. Well, mum or dad or my teacher or so on and so forth is trying to look after me by saying, no, there's nothing left. For example, the basic dessert example. And they're feeling let down and hurt because in their heart and their soul and their being, they know the information they're getting is actually incorrect. But the person they trust, that they love, or that they feel safe around, is giving them this information that's not true. And how do you, as a child, how do you rationalize that? And as adults, we forget how the little, some of the examples I say are going to be really basic, and we think, oh, well, that's not going to matter. But as children, that's our lives, that's our daily activity, and that's what makes up our safeness and our happiness and our day-to-day tasks. So when there's something that's severed in that, and that wouldn't affect another child, it has little ripple effects that can quite challenge us on, depending on a child's personality, on their self-esteem, their relationships, the quality of trust and value and safety they have. So something that I would, even as an adult, will think, well, that's nothing, but it is something to a child. So when it comes to children, just making sure that there's sorry, I'm looking at the screen, not the camera. So making sure that there's honesty and trying to avoid those white little lies, especially if your child is gifted, because it will do more damage to their development and their belief about themselves than telling the blunt, hard out truth. No, you can't have dessert. You've had enough. Instead of no, there's none left. And so I've listed a few things because I didn't even think of what I was going to say on today's show, but it's such a detrimental series to the well-being of our children and ourselves as people and parents, and even if you're just curious on the topic. So I've got a bullet point of some things because I was time poor and sensitive. And now, I used to have a lot of dreams. What child lives in an idea of what they want in the future or their goals for the future? You know, what primary school child, what 6-year-old would think, oh, we live in the present now, and this is the past and this is the future. We live day by day, we live moment by moment. So my strongest gift, which I haven't actually redeveloped because I shut my gifts off. So it would be really nice for a child to be able to evolve nicely and confidently without feeling they need to shut down their gifts. I would dream the most bizarre things, and we've run out of time. So I would dream that I was going to, I'll quickly say this, like if someone was going to hurt themselves on a swing, they'd forget their underwear to wear their underwear, or they'd forget their lunch. A boy would try and kiss a girl, and, you know, all these things that, you know, it wasn't all the time, but there were regular dreams of what would happen the next day. And I couldn't identify with, well, the understanding of the future and what was going on in the present, and being able to see what was going to happen to a child. Could you imagine going, oh, so-and-so is going to kiss you today, or you're going to fall off the swing. Did you forget to wear your underwear today? Sounds so insignificant to an adult, but these things going on in a child's life that represent their daily activity is a real struggle. And it affected my ability to find myself and to be myself, and to not think I was weird, because who knows what's going to happen tomorrow. It wouldn't be movies of the whole day, but it would be snippets of what was going to happen. And that was my day and my life every day in primary school. So I'm going to revisit this in 2 weeks, but next week, stay tuned for our amazing mini medium. If you're also another host and want to be on the show, let me know. Look forward to seeing you next week. Same time, same place.